Seeking a more restful night? Discover LifeWave's Silent Nights patches, designed to support your body's natural ability to relax and unwind. Many find that incorporating silent nights into their evening routine helps enhance feelings of relaxation and promotes a sense of deeper, more restorative sleep, all without the use of drugs or heavy chemicals. Experience the potential for improved sleep quality and wake up feeling refreshed and ready for your day. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to order or learn more.
I'll tell you for sure, we all have benefited from X39 in many, many, many ways. And David, it's been an honor and my pleasure to be interviewing on my part. I'm going to pass it on to my partner, and Marcy, she'll take over. And thank you for all those incredible answers, as I think everybody saw the value and heard it straight from you today. So Marcy,
thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
My question to you is, what are some of your other favorite patches that you've created and why?
You know, I would say the energy patch, of course, since it was the very first patch, is always going to have a special place for me because it's what really kicked off everything. But if I would have to say what's my second favorite patch after X39, I'd probably have to say it's Eon. And Eon has a really incredible story, which I can only tell apart because I wouldn't want people to make claims about it that we don't authorize. But long story short, I was at Suzanne Summers' house, and I was having dinner there with a group of scientists. This is what I like to do for fun. I hang out with old scientists, and so I'm pretty boring socially. So, but I met a scientist there that I had wanted to meet for quite some time. He's very well known. He had been doing research into natural types of cancer therapy and actually molecules that the body produces in an attempt to fight and suppress cancer cells. And he is also very, very interested in longevity. So he did this experiment, and he wanted to know, and this is really the way science works, is we ask questions about the natural environment. And he was seeing that the queen bee was living 50 to 60 times longer than the worker bee. So the question is, why is that? Genetically, they're nearly identical. So what's the difference? And he found out it was the food, and that the queen bee is the one that's consuming the royal jelly. And in the royal jelly, there is a specific peptide that regulates inflammation and allows the queen bee to live so much longer. So he isolated this peptide. He injected it into a worker bee, and just one injection of this peptide allowed the worker bee to live 5 to 6 times longer than normal. So now he said, okay, well, can we apply this to human beings? And remarkably, he found the same chemical exists in human beings. So we say, well, why don't human beings, live, a couple hundred years? And interestingly, the reason is because this peptide is produced in the liver, and it begins to decline at about age 30. So we lose the advantage of this. So I began to look at finding, well, if this is already a peptide that exists in the human body, maybe we could find a way to turn it back on. And that's what the Eon patch became. So the Eon patch elevates this peptide. And what we found, we did about 9 clinical studies on it. And what we found in our testing is that it is a broad spectrum anti-inflammatory. It will reduce inflammatory cytokines, C-reactive proteins, homocysteine, lipid peroxides, fibrinogen. So that was it. That's one of its main benefits. We did another clinical study with Dr. Tom Budzinski, and Dr. Budzinski and his wife, Helen Budzinski, another PhD. They found out that within seconds of applying the Eon patch to the body, that it would bring the autonomic nervous system into balance. And this is why when people wear the Eon patch, First, it reduces the stress on the nervous system, and then it begins to elevate antioxidants and reduce inflammation. So Eon Patch, for many years, not surprisingly, was a top-selling product. And I love it because it not only do people get the daily benefits of the product, but there are some very, very serious longevity benefits to using Eon as well.
Wow. So just so you know, this is it, you guys. We might all want to get that one.
Yep.
And of course, this is what he was talking about. The energy patch was the beginning. And then, of course, the powerful X39. David, is there one other one that you want to talk about? You have one other one?
There is actually. Carnosine to me is one of the most underrated patches we have and underrated nutrients. And I began looking at carnosine back in 2005, 2006, before it ever started gaining attention as a nutrient that can improve sports performance. And today, its precursor, beta-alanine, is relatively common. You can get this now at GNC and those type of things. But back in the day, one of the benefits of carnosine was that it was increasing lifespan in animal testing, like in mice and rats, by 30 to 40%. And back then, nobody knew exactly why, but today, now we know, is that carnosine has the remarkable ability to protect the telomeres from shortening. So long story short, telomeres control the number of times the cells will divide, and we elevate carnosine and it slows down that process. So if it translates the same way, as human beings here, just by on a daily basis elevating carnosine, we can potentially increase our lifespan 30 to 40%. But it actually is much, much better than that. And the reason is that we began looking at, increasing, the lifespan up to 130, 140 years might be too much for people to wrap their arms around. What benefits can we get today? Well, carnosine is stored in the brain, the heart, and the muscle. And so we worked with a pharmacologist, Dr. Lisa Tully, and she did a study and found that after a month of using carnosine, people were getting very significant improvements in their strength, their stamina, and overall measures of physical performance. We also did a study, again, with Dr. Tom and Helen Budzinski, and we looked at the phenomena of age-related cognitive decline. And we found that we could take people over the age of 60 and actually restore their long-term and short-term memory, restore their focus, and even the speed at which their brain was functioning was improving when we elevated carnosine. So carnosine to me is an amazing, simple nutrient that people can use to extend their lifespan, but most importantly, improve the quality of their life today.
I did not know that. I'm putting that on
Okay.
today. I did not know what we had our hands on. And I guess I just want to know, and then just one more. What's your fourth favorite? And then I won't ask anymore.
Oh, brother, that's going to be tough. It would probably be a toss-up between glutathione and Alavita.
But will you say why for both?
Yeah. I mentioned it before. Lifespan is intimately linked to our body's levels of glutathione, but one patch that I will not travel without is glutathione. Just a short story. I was down in Mexico at a leader event a few years ago, and I cut my foot. I got a new pair of sandals. I thought it would be, I get these new sandals so I could enjoy the beach. They ended up scraping the top of my foot, and I got an infection within the first day that I was there. And I happened to surround the infection with the glutathione patch. I used 3 patches around the infection, and within 24 hours it was gone. Mm-hmm. So glutathione, that's just one example. Glutathione has saved my life a number of times. Now the Alavita patch, I've had some amazing experiences with it, but it's designed to elevate the peptide epithalamine, And this is a peptide in the pineal gland that was discovered by a Russian scientist by the name of Kavinsin. And what's remarkable about epithalamine is that it's been linked to telomere regeneration. He has spent his life looking at ways to reverse aging and extend lifespan. And he has said that the secret behind this are in neurohormone precursors that reside in the pineal gland. And he's isolated epithalamine as being one of the most important ones. When you want to look at how to solve problems in biology, you try to find something in nature that will give you a clue. And in longevity research, things like lobsters are looked at because they produce infinite amounts of telomerase. And actually, as lobsters age, they get stronger and their immune system gets better. The lobsters can live.
Looking for the ultimate gym partner? LifeWave X49 patches are designed to help you get the most out of your workouts. X49 promotes performance, strength, and stamina, and supports maintaining a healthy weight through diet and exercise programs. Whether you're an athlete pushing limits or just starting your fitness journey, X49 can help reduce recovery time following exercise. Visit everythingtbt.live or scan the QR code. Click the link in the description to unlock your potential.
130, 150 years. It's actually their shells kind of prevent them from living longer. Clams have been found to live up to 500 years old. So, the basis for this then is scientists that are looking at longevity and research. The telomeres play a really critical role in this, as does oxidative stress. So if we say that Alavita is helping to lengthen the telomeres, which we don't claim, by the way, we aren't making that claim, but what we have found is that it reduces oxidative stress. And this is so critically important to our health and our longevity. So when you look at the cells in a lobster or a clam that's very, very old, they show no signs of biological stress. And that's what we find with Alavita, is that it brings down the levels of oxidative stress. We have one study specifically I am super excited about. I will tell you that, so there's a medical doctor that we work with who does independent studies, and we had this new product in clinical research for about 6 months. And I was sitting in a meeting and the email came through, and I opened it up and I looked at the results from the study, and I had to stop what I was doing because it was like a lifetime of achievement in that one moment. It was like, okay, I've literally accomplished what I set out to do with my life with this one study. And so we, like you would do with any project, you want to duplicate the results. This was a pilot study that involved 15 people. In a 6-month study, you're always going to have dropouts. So one of the people dropped out. So we had 13 out of 14 people get results with this product that would today be considered medically impossible. That's a product that's going to be in our future. We went and started the second clinical study on this, and we're just at the 6-month point now. And so we'll be wrapping up a 1-year study with this by the end of this year. So we're super excited about that. I've also had some really great success at looking at very, very specific ways of targeting stem cells. So X39 is our broad sweeping product for activating stem cells in the body. But, you ask yourself the question, is there any way to maybe target stem cells more specifically? Like, could you target, what happens if you target stem cells to the brain, or you target stem cells to the muscle tissue, or, something else? And so I've been fairly successful at finding ways to do that. So anyway, long story short, we're having a lot of success now in finding very specific ways to use stem cells that are complementary to X39, but yet different than X39. So you could kind of see in the years to come, X39 will continue to be our flagship product, but someone will say, I'd like to regenerate this, or I'd like to have the stem cells kind of go over here. We're going to use this patch. Or I might like to, it's hard for me to say anymore without giving away, the store. But it's all to say there are going to be more patch products. There are going to be other products that come in, and they are going to be focused on newer and better ways to regenerate the body. Healing has never been more valuable than it is today. We are faced with challenges today that as a species we have never had to deal with before. So these are things like genetically modified foods. We have engineered foods, which is a whole other subject. We have all types of pollutants that are around us. We have electrosmog. We have 5G. So all of these things are applying pressure to us biologically, and we have to meet this challenge with new technology that's going to support the integrity of our health. So this is one of the many reasons why LifeWave is a great choice. Now, if we just were to focus on X39, for sure, 20 years from now, stem cells and stem cell therapy is going to be commonplace. But today, stem cell injections are extraordinarily expensive, and they're not at the level of sophistication yet where they can really provide people with the type of healing that they'd be looking for from this approach. But yet we have a way very inexpensively, very safely of activating the body's natural systems by activating the stem cells and helping to support overall healing. So there's not going to be any other place where people can find a better way and a less expensive way of taking advantage of stem cell technology than with our